We'll begin with our block and with our strap within reach and maybe the block. Lie down in a comfortable position. Our first movement will be from our backs. So I'd recommend lying on your back if that is doable for you. Otherwise, you could certainly be on your side or your belly. But the first movements that we'll be finding will be from our backs. My lower back is feeling a little more sensitive today, so I'm keeping a bend in the knees with feet planted, just to find some extra support. Let your arms come to rest. Relax your shoulders. Take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. You're here on your mat for this next hour. As a form of self-care. Take a moment to appreciate the fact that you have set aside this time for you. Bring a smile to your face. Relax in the knowledge that while you're here on the mat, the only thing that you need to do is breathe. Release any obligations. Let yourself just be. You might start to notice things about how your body's feeling, areas that are asking for special attention today. Stay mindful throughout your time on the mat. Pay attention to what your body continues to communicate to you. For the next couple of breaths, think about bringing more intention to the inhalations. Preparing your body for movement if you so choose. And then if you're ready, start to awaken your hands and your feet. Slowly stretch your arms overhead. Take a couple of breaths Whether your legs are extended or knees bent, reach your fingers back. And create more space for your breath. Lower your arms back down. We'll bend the right knee and bring it in towards the chest. Left leg can either be extended or the sole of your left foot can be planted on the mat, whatever's more comfortable. And use just your right hand to assist your right leg as you draw circles with your knee. You might place your left hand on your left frontal hip bone as a reminder to stay rooted. Getting gentle movement in your hip. Going both directions with the circles. Return to center and find your strap and place the strap on the ball of the right foot and press your right foot up to the sky. Hold on to the strap in whatever way is comfortable. I like to hold on close to my foot so that the weight of my arms, gravity, will help with the gentle stretch as the right leg comes in a little closer to the torso. Relax your face, relax your neck, relax your shoulders. Slow and gentle opening. Now bend your right knee. We'll remove the strap. Keep your right knee hugged in. And if your left foot is planted, extend your left leg. We're moving into a twist. We want to give the body some space to twist. So guide your right leg over to the left. Stretch your right arm out to the right. If you do have a block and you'd like some support under your right leg, that might be a nice option. What is comfortable for your neck? You might prefer to keep your head right at center. You may try out turning your head one direction or the other. Notice how your neck feels. Move back to center very slowly. And we'll keep the bend in the right knee and open the right leg out to the right. Tree, but lying on our backs. So you can let the outer edge of your foot, your ankle, come down to rest. Maybe stretching your arms straight out to your sides from your shoulders, or finding cactus arms, stretching your arms out to the sides and then bending your elbows, pointing the tips of the fingers towards the space behind you. Take your time coming back to center, arms come down. Plant the sole of your right foot on the mat and bend your left knee. Plant your left foot on the mat. Just notice how your hips feel, how your back feels. I like to reset things by pressing down through the feet, lifting the hips slightly, and then setting the hips back down, coming back to that place at center. And then you can either keep the sole of your right foot planted or extend your right leg as you pull your left knee in towards your chest. Take a couple breaths. And then begin to draw your circles. Left hand can assist. When you draw your circles, you go both directions, and notice that there might be areas of catching. There might be a change in sensation when you change direction. Just pay attention to that. Might feel good to pause somewhere and take a couple breaths. Return to center and find your strap. And bring the strap to the ball of your left foot. And send your left foot up to the sky. Straighten out your leg. And again, hold on to the strap in whatever way is comfortable. But we take our time here. Let your mind stay here in the present moment. Noticing your breath. Noticing how the opening, stretch, deepens in time. And then we'll put the bend back in the left knee, remove the strap, left knee hugs in. And if your right foot is planted, extend your right leg, let it rest. And we'll move into our twist. Guide your left leg over to the right, stretch your left arm out to the left. Perhaps bringing in some support if you'd like. And adjusting the position of your head. Your time coming back to center. Keep the bend in your knee as you open your left leg out to the left, finding tree here on the back. And just as before, option to stretch your arms straight out to your sides from your shoulders. Maybe cactus arms. Check in throughout your body and see if you can relax a little more anywhere. There might be areas where you're gripping, holding on. Let that go. Lower your arms down if they're lifted. Bring your left knee back up. Plant the sole of your left foot on the mat. Bend your right knee. Plant your right foot on the mat. We're getting ready for bridge. Stack your knees over your ankles. Notice the position of your feet. We want the feet to be about hip width distance apart, with toes pointing to the foot of the mat rather than out or in. So check in, feel the position of your feet. Press down through your feet, press down through your shoulders, and lift your hips up. When you lift your hips up, notice if the position of the feet changes at all, or where the weight is in the feet, if that shifts. We want to keep the entire sole of each foot rooted rather than rolling to the outer edges of the feet or inward. Press down evenly. Then press your shoulders deeper into the mat. Can you open through your chest just another inch? You may even lift your hips a little bit higher. Lower your hips back down. Bring the right knee in towards the chest. And then pull your left knee in towards the chest. And open to a happy baby. Separate your knees and point the soles of your feet to the sky. You can hold on to the backs of your thighs, your calves, your ankles, or your feet in this happy baby. See how much of your spine you can press deeply into the mat. Slowly release. Bring your feet back down to the mat. Then extend one leg and the other. Stretch your arms overhead. Reach your fingers back, point your toes, palms flipped up in this full body stretch. And as you stretch your fingers back and point your toes, feel your low back peel up off the mat. Feel the stretch through the tops of the feet, the fronts of the ankles, through your shins, through your quadriceps. And then relax right where you are. No longer actively stretching, but arms and legs are still extended. And then we'll change the stretch slightly by pressing out through the heels and flipping the palms to face one another. Tips of the thumbs might come to rest on the ground overhead. As you reach your fingers back, press your heels out and notice the change in the connection of the back line of your body to the mat. When you press your heels out, you can bring your low back closer to the mat instead of having it peel away. Still actively stretching, just different sensations, and stretching more through the back line of the body. And then again, relax where you are. Now lower your arms back down. Bend your left knee, plant your left foot on the mat. Bend your right knee, plant your right foot on the mat. Little reset of the hips. And roll to your side. Take a couple breaths on your side using your arm as a pillow. After a few breaths, rise. You come into a table on your hands and knees. Perhaps your shoulders are stacked directly over your wrists, but maybe hands just a little wider is more comfortable today. Same thing with your hips and knees. You might be directly one on top of the other, but you might need a little more space. Now start at the tailbone. Moving into a cow pose, we'll lift the tailbone, then let the belly slowly lower down. Start to draw your chest forward and then gaze forward. Find that same slow movement of the spine as we move into cat. Start at the tailbone. Begin to tuck the tailbone. Feel the rounding through the spine. Pull your navel in and up. Eventually, the space between your shoulder blades presses up towards the sky and the crown of your head points down between your hands. Again, start at the tailbone. Begin to move into your cow pose. Really take your time. Feel each part of your spine waking up. And then back to cat. Again, starting at the tailbone. One more of each. Back to a neutral spine and table. Walk your hands forward to a kneeling plank. Keep your gaze just off the top of the mat as you lower down to your belly slowly. Elbows stay hugged in as you lower down. And once you come down, elbows stay hugged in. Press down through the tops of your feet. Or lift to baby cobra, chin and chest up off the mat. Inhale. Exhale, lower down. Press back up to your kneeling plank and come back to child's pose. Knees can be apart or together. Arms can be out in front or down at your sides. Your arms are down at your sides. Bring your arms out in front once again. We'll rise to table. Walk your hands forward, kneeling plank. Curl your toes under. We'll keep a little bend in the knees as we lift the hips up for downward facing dog. Press the mat away with your hands. Send your hips up and back. You can begin to straighten your legs any amount. But keeping the bend in the knees might help you bring more length to your spine. Now come forward to a high plank pose. Hold your high plank. Press the mat away with your hands. Keep your legs fully engaged. Gaze straight down towards the mat. And then a slow lift to downward facing dog. Again, soften your knees. Let's move that with the breath. Inhale, come forward to your high plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. One more time. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog, bend your knees, lower your knees down to the mat. We'll return to child's pose. Again, arms can be out in front or at your sides. If your arms are out in front, it might feel good to bring your palms together to touch. Bend your elbows, bring your thumbs to the back of your neck. And draw some circles with your fingers. That can help release tension in the wrists. Lower your arms back down if you have chosen that variation, and then we'll rise to table once again. And this time in our table, we'll come down to the forearm. You can bring your hands together, or you can have your palms down or palms up. Curl your toes under and lift your hips up. Press the mat away with your forearms, your elbows. Notice what's happening in your hands. If you start to grip, soften the grip. Keep any bend in your knees. Press your hips up and back. Then lower your knees back down to the mat. We'll rise to table. Walk your hands forward, kneeling plank. Curl your toes under, lift to downward facing dog. And start to walk your feet towards your hands to find a forward fold. We'll spend a little time in the forward fold. Keep a bend in your knees, belly to thighs. Could feel good to roll your wrists or to wrap your arms around your legs. You might take gorilla pose. Lift the toes and the balls of the feet one at a time. Slide your hands under your feet, palms flipped up. You may need a deeper bend in your knees to make that happen. That's okay. Let the crown of your head point down. Open up through the back of your neck. And if you've taken gorilla pose, you might wiggle your toes and massage your wrists. Whether you've chosen gorilla pose or not, think about shifting more weight into the balls of the feet. See how it wakes up through the back line of the body. And there's a slight lift of the hips. You've chosen gorilla pose. Take one hand out from under your foot and then the other. We'll all find a halfway lift. Bring your hands to your shins or thighs as you rise part way. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other and slide them down your back. Gaze straight down to the mat. Any bend in your knees is fine. Wake up your legs, your glutes, your abs, the muscles in your back. Press your hands into your legs. Press your legs back into your hands. Take a breath in. And a breath out, forward fold. And a nice generous bend in your knees. Roll up to standing. If you'd like some support, place your palms on your thighs to support that movement. And once you come all the way up, reach your arms up to the sky. Wrap your right hand around your left wrist and open through your left side. And come back to center and go the other direction. Press down through your right heel. Press your hips to the right. Soften your knees. And come back to center. Lower your arms down to your sides. Roll your shoulders up and back a few times. And inhale, sweep up to the sky. Exhale, hands together down through heart center, forward fold. Halfway lift. Remember that strong energy. Inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Plant your hands and step back to a high plank pose. In your high plank, lift to downward facing dog. Then come forward to your high plank once again. Set your knees down on the mat, gaze just off the top of the mat. Lower yourself all the way down to your belly slowly. And just as before, baby cobra, press down through the taps of the feet. Lift your chin and chest. Fingers away from your ears. If you'd like to move deeper here, press down through your hands, straighten your arms, peel your belly and thighs up off. Whichever version you've chosen, lower yourself back down. Then up to kneeling plank. And pull back to child's pose. Stretch through your arms, your shoulders, your back, your hips. All the way up to downward facing dog once again. Look to your hands, walk your feet to your hands. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold forward. And then roll up to standing once again. Reach your arms up to the sky, big breath in. As you exhale, bring your arms down to your sides and let's bring the hands together behind the back for a chest expansion. Engage your quadriceps, soften the knees, and lift your chest. Engage your glutes as you work your interlaced fingers down towards your heels. Then gaze forward. We'll release the interlaced fingers just long enough to switch the interlace and then take it again. The opposite interlace of the fingers. As we lift and open the chest. And release. Inhale, reach out and up. As you exhale, bring your hands together at heart center and sit back in your chair. When you come back into your chair, shift weight back into the heels. Pull your belly in, relax your shoulders away from your ears. And see if you can send your hips back an inch and down an inch. And then again, back an inch and down an inch. Tuck your tailbone slightly. Hips back an inch, down an inch. One more time, back an inch, down an inch. Wiggle your toes. No gripping with the toes. The weight is back in the heels. Then come all the way up, straighten your legs, hands up through center, inhale. And exhale, dive down, forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold forward. This time in your forward fold, let your fingertips rest on the mat and step your left foot way back for a low lunge so that your right knee is stacked over your ankle. You stay on the ball of your back foot and open to a twist, right arm out and up. Perhaps a half bind, bend your right elbow, bring the back of your hand to rest against your low back. I like to come to the fingertips or fist on the left hand. You could also use a block. You've taken the half bind, release there first. Inhale, reach up to the sky. Exhale, bring your right fingers down to the mat. Now put a little bend in your left knee. Get ready to launch. We'll step the left foot forward to meet the right. Halfway lift, inhale. Open through your chest. Exhale, forward fold. Fingertips come down to rest. Now you step your right foot way back. We're not on a tightrope. Feet are hip width distance apart, side to side. Keep your left knee stacked over your ankle. Find the lift of the right heel and the lift through the back of the right leg, and lengthen from the top of your head down through your right heel. And then we'll find the opening into the twist, left arm out and up, and perhaps the half bind. You've chosen the half bind, release there first. Inhale, left fingers up to the sky. Exhale, left fingers down to the mat. Now soften the back knee, get ready to launch forward. We'll step the right foot forward to meet the left. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold forward. And then a slow roll up to standing. At the top, inhale, reach your arms out and up. Exhale, chair hands at heart center. Inhale, come back up through center. And as you exhale, bring your arms down to your sides. Now let your left foot become your foundation. Lift your right heel. Spin your right knee out to the right. Find a kickstand with your foot. So the ball of your foot is down on the mat. Heel comes to rest against the inside of the ankle. And draw your hands together at heart center. Find your balance here. And then decide if you'd like to move a little deeper by sliding your foot up to your inner calf. Find the lift of the chest, the softening of the shoulders, legs engaged, glutes engaged, abs engaged. You might decide that you'd like to bring your foot up even higher, maybe to the inner thigh. But notice what happens in the hips. We want to keep the hips as level as possible rather than hiking one way up. Also, find the opening of the right leg out to the right. Press your right foot into your left leg and press your left leg back into your right foot. That helps you with stability. Option to bring your hands together behind your back, interlace your fingers, chest expansion in your tree pose. We'll bring hands back together at heart center. Draw your knee forward, set your foot down on the mat. And just a little reset. Inhale, sweep out and up, dive down, exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold forward. And then roll up to standing. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, lower your arms down to your sides. Now your right foot becomes your foundation. Lift your left heel and open your left knee out to the left. Find your kickstand. Bring your hands together at heart center. Really press down through your right foot. Create space in your right hip. Find the feeling of lift. And then if you'd like to move deeper, you can slide your foot to your inner calf, keeping the nice opening, keeping hips level. See where you can engage to bring more support to this pose. Sometimes the glutes go to sleep, wake them up. Same thing with all the muscles at your core. And then if you find that your shoulders are creeping up into your ears, let them relax. And just as on the other side, finding your expression, the height of the foot, the position of the arms, perhaps a chest expansion with the opposite interlace of the fingers. And then see if you start to grip with your right toes. If so, let go of the gripping. Press down evenly through the entire sole of the foot. If you've chosen the chest expansion, bring your hands back together at heart center. Knee out in front. Lower your foot down to the mat. Inhale, reach out and up. Exhale, dive down, forward fold. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold forward, plant your hands, step back to your high plank pose. Then lift to downward facing dog. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, down dog. One more time. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, down dog. Hold your downward facing dog. See if you can lift your hips up and back even more as you press the mat away. Maybe soften your knees. Then come forward to your high plank. Put your knees down on the mat and lower all the way down to your belly. Once you come down to your belly, bring your hands out in front of you so that your forehead can come down to rest on stacked hands. Shift your hips from side to side a few times. Notice which hand is stacked on top. And then we'll lift the head slightly. Bring your left arm down to your side, left ear down to the mat, right arm out to the right. Put a bend in your right elbow, cactus arm, so the right fingertips point beyond the top edge of the mat. And we'll move into a tree position with the right leg. So slide the right knee out to the right, sole of the foot might come to touch the inside of the left leg. It might just be facing that direction. So belly down tree. Relax your glutes. Relax your shoulders. Relax your face. Then we'll find a slow transition to the other side. Bring your right leg down, head lifts, arms slowly switch out. Right arm down to your side, right ear to the mat, left arm out to the left with a bend in the elbow. And then slide your left knee out to the left, finding your belly down tree on this side. And again, it doesn't matter if your foot actually comes in to touch your leg. The sole of the foot is open towards the right leg. Where can you relax? Maybe somewhere you didn't even realize you were holding on. A lot of what we do here on the mat bring awareness to what's happening right here, right now. And then we can decide to make a change if we need to. Take your time coming back out. Bring your leg back down. Lift your head, bring your chin back to center. Once again, we'll let the forehead come to rest on stacked hands, this time the opposite hand on top. Wiggle your hips from side to side. You might even bend your knees, point your toes up to the sky, and rock your feet from side to side. Lower your feet back down if they're lifted. Lift your head, slide your hands back to plant next to your rib cage. Press up to kneeling plank. Come back to child's pose. Beautiful stretch. Then rise either to table or downward facing dog. We're going to make our way to a seated position. So if you've chosen table, just come down to have a seat. If you've chosen downward facing dog, look to your hands, walk your feet all the way through. Come down to comfortable seated position. Take a breath in and a breath out. And then a couple of cow and cat stretches. Cow, chest forward. Cat, open up between the shoulder blades. And then from your seated position, plant the soles of your feet on the mat. Arms can stretch out in front or hands to the backs of the thighs. Begin to roll yourself down to your back. And when you get there, keep your left leg extended and bend your right knee, hugging it in towards your chest. We'll move into our twist. Guide your right leg over to the left. Stretch your right arm out to the right. Notice if this twist feels different from the twist that you took earlier. Come back to center. Right foot comes down to the mat, bend your left knee, plant your left foot on the mat, maybe a little reset of the hips before left knee comes in and right leg extends, and you move into your twist on this side. Again, noticing any change. Back to center. Lower your left foot down to the mat, bend your right knee, plant your right foot on the mat, bridge pose, press down through your feet, press down through your shoulders, lift your hips up. Lower your hips back down, bring your knees in towards your chest, and send your feet up to the sky, straighten out your legs, pull your straight legs in, hang on to your legs wherever it feels best. Grip to assist in pulling your legs in closer. Let your grip be soft, focusing more on the stretch. Put the bend back in the knees. Lift your head and shoulders off the mat. Wrap your arms around your legs. Give yourself a hug. Squeeze everything in. Thank yourself for coming to the mat today. And then a gentle release into your final relaxation. If there's any last movement that you need before finding stillness, then take that movement. But when you're ready, find the complete release. Stillness of the body, except for the movement that occurs naturally with the breath. Notice the rhythm of your breath. Feel your body soften, relax, and release a bit more with each exhalation. Your mind stays here in this moment, aware of the sensations in the body, aware of each inhalation and each exhalation, without the need to control them, just noticing, just observing. And appreciating. For the next few breaths, find gratitude not only for this moment, but for the beautiful day ahead with all of its possibilities and opportunities. Breathe it in and breathe it out. And then begin to awaken to this new day, this fresh start with small movements in the fingers and toes. Adding on to the movement in your way, in your time. Eventually, put a bend in your knees if your legs are straight and roll to your side, or you'll pause for a few breaths. Then rise to a comfortable seated position. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Thank yourself for making time for you today. And I thank you so much for the honor and privilege of guiding the practice. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Namaste.